Imagine yourself sitting comfortably in your living room, maybe reflecting on how time flies. Now, close your eyes for a moment and visualize the concept of a billion seconds. It might seem abstract, but in reality, a billion seconds would take us back to 1987. Remember that year? Maybe you weren't around yet, or maybe you were living through the 80s in all their glory. Now, take a deep breath and get ready for something even more mind-blowing. What if we extend that timeline to a trillion seconds? The answer takes us to around 30,000 years before Christ. Think about that. We're talking about a time before the pyramids, before writing, before civilization as we know it. It's almost impossible to grasp the colossal difference between a billion and a trillion. But what if, instead of time, we were talking about money? $1 trillion. For many of us, imagining $1 million is already an exercise in creativity. A billion, then, starts to stretch our understanding. Now, think about $1 trillion. We're talking about a sum so vast that it transcends mere personal wealth accumulation. It represents an economic force capable of shaping the fate of entire nations. Let's start with a comparison that might make this value more tangible. $1 trillion is equivalent to the gross domestic product, GDP, of some entire countries. If you were a country, your GDP would rank among the top 20 economies in the world, surpassing nations like Switzerland, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. It's enough money to build and sustain a complete national infrastructure, from roads and hospitals to schools and public transportation networks. But what if we decide to spend that money in more specific ways? Imagine, for example, that you could buy Australia. Yes, the entire country, with its cities, vast lands, and natural resources. $1 trillion would be enough to acquire all the assets of the nation, including its educated population and immensely rich resources. Now, shifting the scene, San Francisco, one of the most expensive cities in the world. With $1 trillion, you could provide an apartment for every single person living in that vibrant city. Imagine the social transformation that could bring, instantly solving the housing crisis that affects millions of residents. It would be a solution as radical as it is unimaginable. And if you're a sports enthusiast? With $1 trillion, you could buy every team in every sports league in the world. 1,000 times over. This means you could easily own all the franchises in the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, Premier League, and every other sports league you can think of. And you'd still have money left over to build new stadiums, create additional leagues, and maybe even invent new sports. But the power of $1 trillion goes far beyond impressive acquisitions and social transformations. With that amount, you could significantly alter the course of global issues. Imagine investing $1 trillion in mitigating climate change, developing green technologies, cleaning up oceans, or funding the global energy transition. With that money, you wouldn't just be buying economic power but also having a lasting impact on life on the planet. And that's not all. Think about what $1 trillion could mean in terms of innovation. It could be invested in scientific research, revolutionizing fields like medicine, artificial intelligence, or space exploration. With that amount, the limits of what's possible would begin to expand in ways we can't even imagine yet. Finally, let's consider the political power of $1 trillion. That sum could influence elections, fund massive campaigns, or even create a new global governance structure. The individual or entity that controlled that fortune would have the ability to shape public policy on a global scale, not just through lobbying but by literally altering the economic and social conditions in different regions of the world. Who are the candidates for trillionaire status? These individuals aren't just top candidates, they are visionaries shaping the future on multiple fronts, each in their own way. Let's learn more about them and what puts them in this unique position. Elon Musk, the architect of the future. Elon Musk, perhaps the most famous among the trillionaire candidates, is a name almost everyone knows. Founder of companies that are revolutionizing entire industries, like Tesla and SpaceX, Musk is a visionary who isn't satisfied with the status quo. His ambition knows no bounds. With Tesla, he hasn't just revolutionized the automotive industry but also accelerated the global transition to electric vehicles, forcing traditional giants to follow suit. But it's with SpaceX that Musk might be making his most ambitious bet. He's not just sending rockets into space, he's laying the groundwork for a multi-planetary civilization. The Starship project, which aims to establish a colony on Mars, isn't just a distant dream. It's a concrete plan already underway. And if successful, it could open $1 trillion market in space exploration, asteroid mining, and even space tourism. Musk's vision is clear. He's not just building companies, he's building the future. And that could very well make him the first trillionaire in history. Mark Zuckerberg, the global connector. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, now rebranded as Meta, is also a strong trillionaire candidate. His journey started in a Harvard dorm room, and today he runs one of the largest social networks in the world, connecting billions of people. But Zuckerberg isn't content with just being everyone's friend. He wants to transform how we interact with the world. The shift in focus from Facebook to Meta and his vision of the metaverse are clear indicators of where Zuckerberg sees the future. He's investing heavily in virtual and augmented reality, believing that the metaverse will be the next big platform for social and commercial interaction. If he's right, this new digital reality could generate its own economy, where virtual goods and services are as valuable as those in the physical world. Moreover, Zuckerberg's strategic acquisitions, like Instagram and WhatsApp, show his ability to anticipate trends and ensure that Meta remains at the center of social interactions. With the internet expanding to new parts of the world, especially in underdeveloped regions, Meta's user base could grow even further, exponentially increasing its value and bringing Zuckerberg closer to the trillion mark. Jeff Bezos, the master of logistics. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, started by selling books online in 1994. Today, Amazon is the largest retailer in the world, a giant that not only sells everything but also sets the standard for global logistics, cloud computing with AWS, and now even explores the skies with Blue Origin, his space exploration company. Bezos is known for his relentless focus on innovation and efficiency, which has turned Amazon into a company without limits. Bezos's ambition goes beyond e-commerce. With Blue Origin, he's literally aiming for the stars. He wants to make space accessible and transform space exploration into a lucrative and sustainable industry. And with AWS, Bezos is already at the forefront of the digital revolution, providing the infrastructure for much of the modern internet. These initiatives not only diversify his wealth sources but also place him in a unique position to capitalize on multiple growing sectors. Bernard Arnault, the luxury tycoon. Bernard Arnault, the CEO of luxury conglomerate LVMH, is also a candidate for trillionaire status, though his path is slightly different from the others mentioned. Arnault has built an empire in the luxury goods sector, including iconic brands like Louis Vuitton, Dior, and Moët & Chandon. The luxury market has a peculiarity. Even in times of crisis, it tends to thrive, and the demand for exclusive, high-quality products continues to grow globally. Arnault understood early on that luxury is not just about products but about experience, identity, and status. He has transformed LVMH into a powerhouse that defines what is desirable for the world's rich and powerful. With the rise of the middle class in emerging countries, the demand for luxury continues to grow, and Arnault is well positioned to capture a significant share of this expanding market. Additionally, he has demonstrated exceptional skill in acquiring and revitalizing brands, keeping them at the top of the global prestige pyramid. Other names in the race. Besides these giants, there are other billionaires who also have a chance of reaching $1 trillion. For example, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, co-founders of Google, who are at the forefront of the digital revolution and artificial intelligence. Or people like Mukesh Ambani, who dominates the energy and telecommunications market in India, one of the largest and most dynamic markets in the world. Each of these individuals is leading innovations or markets that have the potential to grow exponentially. The artificial intelligence sector, in particular, has the potential to create trillionaires, as AI is at the center of the next industrial revolution. Those leading this revolution, developing new applications for AI in sectors like healthcare, transportation, finance, and entertainment, could be among the first to reach that milestone. These potential trillionaires are much more than mere wealth accumulators. They are the pioneers who are redefining the industries they operate in and, by extension, the world we live in. The race to the first $1 trillion isn't just a race for the title, it's a battle for the future. These individuals are shaping the new frontiers of technology, the economy, health, and consumption, and the impact of their innovations will be felt for generations. What these revolutionaries have in common is the ability to see beyond the horizon, to identify not just what's trending now, but what will be indispensable in the future. They're not just creating products or services, they're laying the foundations for entirely new industries that will have deep and lasting ramifications worldwide. As we follow this race, we're not just witnessing the accumulation of wealth, but also the transformation of our society on an unprecedented scale. And as these new industries emerge, the world as we know it will inevitably be altered. The real question that remains is, how will these revolutions shape our future, and what role will we, as a society, play in this new world that's coming? We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. See you next time.